Greetings everybody and welcome to another video where we are getting very close to the end of December. There's still one or two more YouTube videos to do for Wotv before the end of the year, and we're gonna have a little fun with the Wotv awards, which are coming up relatively soon. As soon as I figure out all the awards I want to give this year. There are no trophies, cutbacks. Also, at the beginning of this video, just want to say that if you haven't done it already, go vote on the January game. Go do it. But today, specifically for this video, we are going to be talking about tier lists, because back in October, there was a tier list video that I did. You can even see it right here. You just search Umber Rays in tier list, you'll actually find it. I could probably up the quality on here. Holy cow, I record in 1080p 60 frames per second? Are you kidding me? That cannot be true. But anyway, this was the tier list back in the day that I recorded, and it was basically from the polling and commenting that was made by some of the people who run the game, and it's all based on feedback that they have gotten from people and comments from people. I'm repeating myself a little bit, but I'm trying to get it across that essentially this is not individual. This is not an individual's opinion. This is a collaborative opinion about what is effectively good in Wotv back at that time. Now we have an update to this. That's really what we are here to look at today, but I wanted to show this off just as a reminder. If you want to go back and check that video out and see what I said back then, this will maybe give you an idea of what's changed. And just look, there's Bart's down at B rank, but we're essentially looking at the same thing. And I also wanted to shout out that one of the heads, one of the guys that you see a lot on the live streams, JP live streams, he did become a dad this year in October for his new baby boy. So shout outs to him, congratulations to him. And now let's get on with talking about the rest of the stuff. So here is the updated tier list, and I'm going to make this quite big today so that we can all see it. Now, top is of course God tier, the best of the best, the top characters in the entire game. Then we have triple S, double S, S, and A ranking. And for some context, A rank characters are obviously still worthy of building and using, of more of a general casual friend, free to play person just playing the game for fun. S is a little bit better. Double S is getting into the meta category. We're slightly off meta. Triple S is our actual meta characters, and the highest tier characters are these ones, that the 6 at this point in time, that are basically considered to be the best and the best, and build teams around them. So yeah, what's there to comment about? Well, let's start down at A tier. You'll still see Bart's down there, which honestly, this is something that I needed to update about. From what I've seen with Bart's, he is insanely good at being on teams that can completely destroy evasion-based teams. And to that, I actually think that he is maybe ranked a little bit too low on this list, but very situational. Best I would put him up into is S tier. I don't think that he's much better than that, but he's actually kind of decent in some of the testing I have done, but only some of it. He is not a replacement for AC Cloud or anything like that. He's quite well down there, and most of the A tier list I kind of just agree with. I'm even maybe a little surprised that Lena is as high as she is. I would swap definitely Bart's and Lena around, because Bart's can just go hunting multiple different teams, but that does bring into the conversation of just wind elemental characters and how strong wind is still as an element, and it's doing quite well against evasion too. So yeah, Not really much that I disagree with in the A tier. There are some characters that you don't see on here, obviously. Ayu or Reagan, both of those characters just not even on the you should be considering them kind of thing. They're just not worth the resources. And I mean, at a certain point, this tier list is already big enough, and I don't think that there are any obvious. Looking into the S tier, I pretty much agree with this. Ketone maybe could be put a little bit up, but she feels a little supplementary. She's definitely in that Bradley of just being a Earth evasion, filling another slot. Nickel also ranking in that S tier character because he's good in some spots, but not overly well in other. Again, there's really nothing that I disagree with in S tier. Maybe there's an argument for putting Ketone a little bit higher because she has been rated to be pretty good into some evasion-based teams. But I don't know, Shawls as well is one of those characters that gets splashed into a lot of teams, especially around content or cost limited stuff. So that's pretty cool that she is there, but maybe a little bit higher. Into double S, well, now we're getting into more discussionary points. This is where most, if not, let me just double check really quickly. Yeah, pretty much all of the Veritas units are, Dark Veritas being incomplete, Light Veritas being character that still needs more work probably to truly shine. But Fire, honestly, and yes, it is rated or listed by Elemental, but even then, I still think Art should be higher than Lena. Talking about what I see here that is interesting, I'm surprised that Volk is still where he is. I don't feel like Volk has been that great, but then again, I've been also trying to make a spear team, and I just can't commit all of my resources to Gilgamesh at this point. Interestingly, like, I haven't seen any really good spear content yet that has proven to me that spear is better than it is, but you know, you have Ramada and Gilgamesh. Double S, Volk, or triple S, I should say. Double S, Volk being there is probably good enough for that trifecta of a team. You just don't have a spear unit yet in God tier, potentially pulling it up where double S. Any other notable thing, Cherie still being there is a bit of a surprise to me because I honestly don't think about that character that much. Dario being there does make a ton of sense because he is in unison with Brecken a lot of the time, and that worked really well for him. Like Glassy, given her updates, I would actually potentially put back in. Maybe some people are still putting her down there because of her age, or maybe just because some of the other characters we've seen are just so good. But I think Flag Glassy is one that could definitely be higher. I think Orlando could also potentially definitely be higher. Kadaj, I think, could probably be lower, but probably it's also because of Garuzin, the wind elemental character, being in the game that he there. Thancred making his way all the way up to double S, and this probably might be the most surprising thing on the list. I don't think that he should be there. I think that he should be lower, potentially much lower. But I haven't had the greatest. I mean, he has been a bonus character for the last little bit, and that kind of has pushed him upwards. Rams is still hanging in there at double S tier, which is really good. If you go back and look at the October list, Ramsey was down in single S, so he has been doing, you know, people's evaluation of him, usefulness of him has been a little bit better. And getting into triple S tier, noticeable things, Gilgamesh making his way all the way up to triple S, and I absolutely agree with this. I would even maybe say that Sephiroth should be demoted. I don't even think that Flame Sorcerer is that great compared to some of the other characters that we're at here. But Gilgamesh definitely has proven to me from the stuff that I've seen that he is an absolutely deserving to be in the triple S category. That's great. I'm hoping that, I can't remember if there's anything else that we're going to see in the FF5 event, like a raid or something like that, that will give new equipment. If so, maybe Gilgamesh can get just a little bit higher. Of course, we have 2 new characters coming up, so might not happen. Agrias, shining in the triple S tier, absolutely agree with it. She is useful, she's low costed than a lot of other characters, and she's highly valuable with her status effects. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Really glad to see Agrias still in there at triple S. Before in October she was in triple S, she's hung in there, and that's with a ton of new characters. Just super happy to see her there. Jaden as well in triple S, agree. Peruzan staying in triple S. Dario has been moved down from triple to double. Kind of makes sense with potentially some of the other options that are available out there. Geez, maybe I can just do Fire and Wind Spear and test that out with Ramada as well. Maybe that's the ticket. Sorry, off thought. Spring June still up there, not really surprising. One of the best water units still. Yuna making her way into triple S. Her Riku is in God tier, and honestly, that's a little surprising given that Yuna, we've done so many videos where top tier guilds agree that Yuna is just best in class for being an absolutely top tier character and kind of just the ultimate defensive. But maybe there just wasn't that many top tier guilds who voted on this. Either way, I contest this. I don't think that Riku is that good, because from what I have seen, Riku and the whole evasion gambit that Earth is trying to do, and maybe Earth Lightning, I don't think that it is as good. I don't even think that Benair is that good. When that team gets shut down, it gets shut down super hard. I still fully believe in evasion. Splash better, so long as you can get it being good enough, but I would almost absolutely swap Yuna and Riku. AC Cloud still hanging in there. Cypher, Pain as well isn't maybe an interesting development. She was not double S. And some people might have even expected her to be just double S, but yeah, she is really that great. She ended up being a fantastic free-to-play. I don't even know if I particularly like Angela that much there, but she's finding some success in dark light hybrid teams, but not my favorite. I would even bump her down. Double S, Dark Veritas still being double S, or being in double S makes sense to me. And then going up to the God tier, the only real movement that we've seen is Riku up there, just because Riku is effectively a really, really good unit. But from what I've seen from performance-wise, aside from her just being everywhere and a lot of people really liking her, I haven't found her performance that amazing. I'm more on Team Yuna. Team Accuracy, I think Team Accuracy gets there. Bartz as well, being a A-class character on this list that completely shuts down Riku when he's combined with Cypher, and just as an accuracy build can just completely floor this team. One of Peachin's most recent videos was doing a Bartz team, and the Bartz team lost about almost everything. It lost against almost every team it faced. But the one team it completely destroyed was pure evasion. That, to me, speaks worlds about how you can have an A-tier character going up against a God tier in combination with Venerin Triple S, and also Luciel, who's also in that top tier, and just completely lose. Like, not even like it's a little bit of a loss, it was just a complete loss. To me, that just doesn't bode incredibly well. Trekken, I still agree. Summer Resnick, as long as AC Sephiroth is even remotely popular, yeah, she's going to stay in that incredibly high tier. Although I think, from what I've seen, more teams are starting to switch to Luciel with the Thunder element than the... how do I say this? Than the Fire Summer Resnick. Exia is still definitely top of her class. She synergizes way too well with Mr. Sadali there. I agree with pretty much everything, except I think that Summer Resnick, in potentially somewhat of the near future, might start to drop, just because Luciel is looking to be gaining popularity and just better fits in other teams. Especially as AC Sephiroth feels like he's starting to disappear from some, not all, comps. And then Riku as well potentially could be swapped with. I think that Riku is still insanely strong, but I think that a little bit better. So those are my thoughts as to the whole tier list shenanigans. And yeah, I think I misspoke maybe a few times about some characters I thought were on the original October list but weren't. Dark Veritas wasn't there at the time. Obviously Pain wasn't there at the time. That one just speaking. But Pain being up there is a little bit surprising, because I think that a lot of people thought that, you know, a free 90 character wouldn't be as good as she was, and she actually is probably one of the undervalued characters is out there. Me stuck with a level 89 one right now. I feel just maybe a little bit missed the boat, but you know, it's hard to ignore that Riku is just considerably ranked higher, as well as Yuna is incredibly ranked higher, and I got my Yuna to 40. That was where I spent my resources. But you can only do so much at the end of the day when you are not spending copious amounts of money, right? There she is. Only 170-ish days if I was really going slow. But yeah, that's a look at what JP players are thinking are some of the best characters. We all have our own opinions about these characters from our experiences about what should be higher, what should be lower. Of course, feel free to leave your comments, your experiences below. We have, of course, a new Mont and Exdeath coming in a little bit for Light and Dark, and that's probably going to be a shift in the meta. It'll be interesting to see. I think that Mont has a decent chance of getting all the way up into God tier, because he is a main character in Wotv character and could be strong. Exdeath, I'm hoping, I could see him being triple S very easily. I don't think he'll get up to God, but you never know. When we look at the combinations of characters who are really good and what is really good right now, what is agreed upon by many people is really good. I think that Yuna, AC Cloud, Cypher, and Pain all being in triple S tier, just waiting for that triple S character, and we have two really big chances for both of them. And I think that as we see maybe some more experimentation with Spears, maybe Spears can get up too. But yes, that is probably going to be the last tier list that we will see. The next one will be in the first tier list of 2025, as more and more characters come to the game, collaborations show up, and we see what movement there is, especially with the Veritises and their new vision cards, which are looking to be relatively easy to get and max as long as you play the game. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, have a happy holidays, and the Wotv Awards are coming soon as I finish them. Later.